even with the way he's playing, people think like everyone is so like either basically all or nothing with him in terms of his value.
Mm-hmm.
I know some people think he's like his value is like really low. His value is not low. A guy who can give you basically who's a walking 2010, and if you can have him in a role where he's not the primary ball playmaker
Right.
at 2010, he rebounds very well, and if he's in a good situation, he can play really well for you as like someone who's off the ball. And
He
so I think that's pretty valuable. I think they're going to get a really good return for him. So I think people that think it's like, his value is so low, like it's worthless, I don't really agree with that.
it's not as high as it was last year. Here's the thing, man. I feel like it's a small market team thing, man. Because with the small market teams,
Yeah.
they really the small market teams don't really expect to get the big fish in free agency, so they have to trade. They definitely have to trade. And if you're looking around
Yeah.
in the league right now, you saw the Kings was trying to get Ben Simmons, and that trade fell through. Ian Begley talked about how the Kings were interested in Julius Randle last season. They also were interested in Sabonis as well, so that's another name that kind of popped up. Whenever you hear Sabonis, I'm thinking if they're interested in Sabonis, then they might be interested in Julius because they're almost in the same role, even though Sabonis is kind of actually better this year. So
Yeah.
I'm not saying 100% go for De'Aaron Fox, but I mean that's a small market team. Keep an eye on that. Who knows if it'll happen this season or whatever, but keep an eye on that. I know they're trying to have a fire sale over there, and they seem like a little bit motivated. But these small market teams, man, they might be the ones who take over Julius Randle. Okay, you know what? We'll see what happens. It's New York. The pressure gets to you. You're in a small market now. We'll take care of you, and there's less pressure. Do what you do. So, Big Reaper, shout out to Big Reaper, says a $10 super chat says, "Do not trade Obi." Yo, at this point, Ryan, with the way Randall is playing and the tea leaves, I'm gonna just get to some of the tea leaves today because I'm out right now. Right, first tea leaf. It's because there's been a lot of Knicks news that's been going on this week, Ryan. I don't know if you noticed, but it's been Ian too that's been dropping gems. It hasn't been. It's been Ian, and the first gem that Ian dropped was that a team who has contacted the Knicks got the impression that Randall could be moved for the right price. And for the right price can mean anything, right? Like we don't know if it's Ben Simmons type of price where they say they want to trade Ben Simmons, but the asking price is astronomical. We don't know if that's the case, but the fact that for the right price to me was put in that because Ian Begley is very careful about the words he chooses when he talks about trades. He doesn't like to say definitively anything is going to happen or not happen. Right? So when he says for the right price, it makes me believe they're going to be thinking about it, especially when you contrast it with the news that we got today, Ryan. And the news that we got today was teams have been acquiring about Obi Toppin and Emmanuel Quickly, but the Knicks hold them in high regard. So that's a completely different tone than the Julius Randle news. If they said teams have been calling about Julius Randle, but they hold Julius Randle in high regard. To me, that signals they're more on the fence about trading him. But so those two news stories going back to back makes you believe that they're more inclined to keep Obi and keep IQ and less likely and more open to trading Randall. That's what it feels like. And in general, shout out to the front office because they kept Grimes out of a trade package just last week for Cam Reddish, included Knox. So it seems like the front office is kind of prioritizing the youth right now. And if that's the case, kudos to the front office, man, because that's what it feels like.
Yeah. Usually when a team says a player is available for the right price, that basically means if a team comes through and it's a trade that they just cannot turn down, they will pull the trigger on the trade. So, yeah, they're saying Julius Randle is available, but but they're saying he's not going to be available for just anything. You're going to have to offer us a pretty good package to get Julius Randle.
Right.
That's what I take it as. And of course, the fact that they hold OB and IQ in high regard, because this is what I think. Because I feel like if the Knicks are looking, like if the rumors are true and saying that Knicks are trying to offload the veterans, other teams are going to inquire about the Knicks' young pieces because they're going to be like, okay, well, if you want us to take a Julius Randle, if you want us to take an Evan Fournier or whatever the case may be, you better attach a draft pick. You better attach an asset to that, a young asset to that for us to take on those contracts.
Right.
So I feel like that's where the rumor comes in about, teams inquiring about OB and they're inquiring about IQ. But, of course, the front office is doing the right thing by holding those players in high regard because you see promise with IQ, you see promise with OB, and with the way the veterans are playing currently with the Knicks, I mean, you have to look towards the future. You have to look towards the young players. So
I can see that.
from what I'm hearing from the front office, it seems like the front office is acting very competently. They're acting, within the best interest of the team, and the front office has an idea that it's going to be the young guys that's going to carry the Knicks into the future. The vets are not cutting it right now for the Knicks.
That's a really good point, Ryan. That's a very good point because the other part of the news that also came out was the Brian Windhorst news, and sometimes with Brian Windhorst you take it or leave it, right? You take it's not Shams, it's not it's not Shams, it's not Ian. So you like some Brian. So his news came out, and his news says that the Knicks are trying to move veterans. Looking at Fournier, looking at Alec Burks, right? At this point of the season, the way they're playing, it might not be so easy to move them. So you might be absolutely right, Ryan. Teams could be like, okay, yeah, we'll take Fournier, but can we add IQ? Like, and at that point, it might be a no for me though. Like, I'm not adding IQ to add IQ to move Fournier, who we just got here for $17 million. That would suck.
Yeah.
That would suck. And even Alec Burks, I thought maybe it might be a little bit easier to move Alec Burks. But he's a little bit been on a downtrend. It might be easier to move him next season. Who knows? But hopefully you find a team he'll be able to take them. There's teams out there who are desperate for kind of backup point guard help. The Cavs come to mind for sure. So maybe we can try to move something with them. But who knows what their asking price is? I can see them asking for a pick or something. But they also have Ricky Rubio. So when you have a guy who's expiring and he's dead cap, we can also ask for a pick in exchange for that as well. So maybe that's something. Maybe the Cavs is something we look to explore to do some business with. Who knows?
It was to get Burks because if you talk about the point guard position, they just acquired Rondo the other day, so they have Rondo to back up Garland.
Oh yeah, that's right. They do have Rondo.
Yeah, so the Cavaliers, I think if the Cavaliers were to make a move, it wouldn't be for a point guard.
It would be for. You know what? You're right about that. You know what else? You know what I'm thinking about? I'm thinking about Colin Sexton. I'm thinking about they have Colin Sexton there. They have Colin Sexton and they have Ricky Rubio there who's dead cap. Obviously Darius Garland seems to be the more competent point guard out of the two. I can see them trying to offload him at some point. So I think that's something else to look at as well. I'm not sure what the asking price should be. Also, I'm not even completely sure if you want to go that direction at point guard. Because I know you also heard Jalen Brunson is a guy that we can be looking at as well, who's a guy who can potentially lead the Dallas Mavericks. So I can see the Knicks trying to make a move for him as well. But again, what's the asking price for Jalen Brunson? Are you going to give up young guys and a pick for Jalen Brunson, or are you going to wait until the offseason to try to sign him as a free agent?
Yeah. Even though Jalen Brunson's kind of interesting because when I look at Dallas's lineup, he starts for Dallas right now. He starts alongside Luka. So he's not the backup point guard anymore. He's like more of a I don't know how they play Luka and Brunson in the backcourt because I don't really watch a lot of Dallas games, but I would assume that Luka would be the point, right?
Yeah, you know what it is too. They just lost Tim Hardaway Jr. to an injury, so they probably had to end up moving Brunson into the starting lineup to kind of ease that. So maybe they want to take maybe they'll be like, okay, we'll take Burks on because we need the help, and we might maybe it's something like that. Who knows? That could be something.
Because I'm trying to think what other point guard do Dallas have besides Luka and Brunson? I can't think of another point guard that they have. So to me, I'm like, why would they really move Brunson in that case? Wouldn't Brunson be? I think Brunson would be more of like a free agent signing, once his contract is up.
Yeah, it's one of those things where if they can be scared that he's gonna leave in free agency, but they're also in the middle of a championship chase. You know what I'm saying?
That too.
So it's gonna be that balance, but they also gonna need a piece because they lost Tim Hardaway Jr. So they might be able to try to like get a piece from there. And we have wings galore.
True.
We have wings galore, so that could be something too. But I can still see them end up asking for a pick.
Of course, because Brunson's a good young player. So
right. In any of those situations. Sharon goes, why do you guys want to trade Burks? That's dumb. Actually, Burks is a decent player, man. Burks is a decent player, but as you see, we have Cam Reddish here, and at some point, we're gonna have to give Cam Reddish time. And the Knicks have the second hardest schedule remaining in the NBA. As of now, it just doesn't look like we're going. I don't know, man. I don't see it happening at this point. Like, I'm not sure. I know the Knicks feel like they might be able to turn around, but I don't see significant progress happening with this team as constructed. So it might be better to get Cam some minutes after the trade deadline to kind of get him on the track to improving his value, improving his play, getting used to his team, and starts to look for the future at this point. Like, it might be, it seemed like it's almost time. Cause like I said last week, I feel Cam, trades could be made by a trade deadline or by the summer, and depending on how we play up until the trade deadline, I feel like is going to dictate what we do and how fast moves are made. And because it seems like we're falling out of the playoff chase, I feel like by the time the trade deadline hits, if we keep losing games at this place, it's going to be more and more likely that we're going to be moving players, and players who will be moved so they can play. So Cam can play would have to be wings. That's pretty much what it is.
Yeah, like I would agree with Sherwin if the Knicks were actually winning games. If the Knicks were, in a solid playoff spot and they were a good team. But the Knicks schedule is tough going towards the trade deadline, and like you said, it's going to depend on how the Knicks do within these next couple of days. If the Knicks keep on losing games, they're going to fall more and more out of the playoff spots. And if that's the case, why are you going to keep these veterans here for?
Exactly.
You have young guys here that you're trying to develop. You just traded for Cam Reddish from the Atlanta Hawks, and you have him on the bench, and he's not getting no type of burn whatsoever. So you don't even know what you have in Cam Reddish. So if you want to find out what you have in Cam Reddish, if you want to find out what you have in the other young guys, you have to move some of these veterans so that these young guys can get the minutes, so the Knicks can see what they have in these young guys and what they can actually give to the team.
Exactly. I agree with you. And it will behoove Tibbs too at that time to ease up on the minutes on Julius Randle. It would behoove him. Like, that would have to be done. Salute to the chat, man. Shout out to the chat. Y'all could be anywhere in the hell, but you're here with us talking Knicks basketball almost 2 a.m. in the morning. If you like the show so far, please hit the like button and subscribe button. And we're here after every post game. Talking Knicks. Next post game though, because I know we were on a little bit of West Coast trip. I might do like the next day type of situation where we do it the next day, because during the work week is going to be kind of tough. So I'm still kind of decided that, but look out for that. All right. But shout out to everybody who's rocking the KFT show, and let's talk some Knicks basketball. Next caller up, we got Stan Nowak